Chapter 3 Knowledge. Chapter 1 The superiority of knowledge. Chapter 2 Whoever is asked about knowledge while he is busy in some conversation, so we finish talking and then answer the questioner. Narrated Abu Huraira. While the Prophet was saying something in a gathering, a Bedouin came and asked him, when would the hour doomsday take place? Allah's Messenger continued his talk. So some people said that Allah's Messenger had heard the question, but did not like what the Bedouin had asked. Some of them said that Allah's Messenger had not heard it. When the Prophet finished his speech, he said, "Where is the questioner who inquired about the hour doomsday?" The Bedouin said, "I am here, O Allah's Apostle." Then the Prophet said, "When honesty is lost, then wait for the hour doomsday." The Bedouin said, "How will that be lost?" The Prophet said, "When the power or authority comes in the hands of unfit persons, then wait for the hour doomsday." Chapter 3 Whoever raises his voice in conveying knowledge. Narrated Abdullah bin Ammar. Once the Prophet remained behind us in a journey. He joined us while we were performing ablution for a prayer which was overdue. We were just passing wet hands over our feet and not washing them properly. So the Prophet addressed us in a loud voice and said twice or thrice, "Save your heels from the fire." Chapter 4 Concerning the variety of words used by the narrators conveying different significations regarding the concept of narrating, and which has importance for the hadith scholars only. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "Amongst the trees there is a tree, the leaves of which do not fall and is like a Muslim. Tell me the name of that tree." Everybody started thinking about the trees of the desert areas, and I thought of the date palm tree, but felt shy to answer. The others then asked, "What is that tree?" "O Allah's Messenger," he replied, "it is the date palm tree." Chapter 5 The Imam questioning his companions in order to test their knowledge. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, "Amongst the trees there is a tree, the leaves of which do not fall and is like a Muslim. Tell me the name of that tree." Everybody started thinking about the trees of the desert areas, and I thought of the date palm tree. The others then asked, "Please inform us, what is that tree?" "O Allah's Messenger," he replied, "it is the date palm tree." Chapter 6 What is said about knowledge. Narrated Anas bin Malik. While we were sitting with the Prophet in the mosque, a man came riding on a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque, tied its foreleg, and then said, "Who amongst you is Muhammad?" At that time the Prophet was sitting amongst us, his companions, leaning on his arm. We replied, "This white man reclining on his arm." The man then addressed him, "O son of Abdul Muttalib," the Prophet said, "I am here to answer your questions." The man said to the Prophet, "I want to ask you something and will be hard in questioning, so do not get angry." The Prophet said, "Ask whatever you want." The man said, "I ask you by your Lord and the Lord of those who were before you. Has Allah sent you as an apostle to all the mankind?" The Prophet replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you by Allah, has Allah ordered you to offer 5 prayers in a day and night 24 hours? He replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you by Allah, has Allah ordered you to observe fasts during the month of the year, Ramadan?" He replied, "By Allah, yes." The man further said, "I ask you by Allah, has Allah ordered you to take zakat, obligatory charity, from our rich people and distribute it amongst our poor people?" The Prophet replied, "By Allah, yes." Thereupon that man said, "I have believed in all that with which you have been sent, and I have been sent by my people as a messenger, and I am Dimam bin Talaba from the brothers of Bani Sa'd bin Bakr." Chapter 7 What is said regarding the hand-to-hand exchange of books of knowledge and the writing of knowledge by religious scholars to different countries? Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Once Allah's messenger gave a letter to a person and ordered him to go and deliver it to the governor of Bahrain. He did so, and the governor of Bahrain sent it to Khosrows, who read the letter and then tore it to pieces. The sub-narrator Ibn Shihab thinks that Ibn al-Musayyab said that Allah's messenger invoked Allah against them, saying, "May Allah tear them into pieces and disperse them all totally." Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once the Prophet wrote a letter or had an idea of writing a letter, the Prophet was told that they, rulers, would not read letters unless they were sealed, so the Prophet got a silver ring made with Muhammad, Allah's messenger, engraved on it, as if I were just observing its white glitter in the hand of the Prophet. Chapter 8. Whoever sat at the farther end of a gathering and whoever found a place amongst the gathering and took his seats there. Narrated Abu Waqid al-Laiti. While Allah's messenger was sitting in the mosque with some people, 3 men came. 2 of them came in front of Allah's messenger, and the third one went away. The 2 persons kept on standing before Allah's messenger for a while, and then one of them found a place in the circle and sat there, while the other sat behind the gathering, and the third one went away. When Allah's messenger finished his preaching, he said, "Shall I tell you about these 3 persons? One of them betook himself to Allah, so Allah took him into His grace and mercy and accommodated him. The second fell shy from Allah, so Allah sheltered him in His mercy and did not punish him. While that third turned his face from Allah and went away, so Allah turned His face from him likewise." Chapter 9. The statement of the Prophet says, "It is probable that a person who receives a piece of information indirectly may comprehend it better than he who has heard it directly from its source." Narrated Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakr's father. Once the Prophet was riding his camel and a man was holding its rein. The Prophet asked, "What is the day today?" We kept quiet, thinking that he might give that day another name. He said, "Isn't it the day of Nar, slaughtering of the animals of sacrifice?" We replied, "Yes." He further asked, "Which month is this?" We again kept quiet, thinking that he might give it another name. Then he said, "Isn't it the month of Dhul Hijjah?" We replied, "Yes." He said, "Verily, your blood, property, and honor are sacred to one another, ye Muslims. Like the sanctity of this day of yours, in this month of yours, and in this city of yours, it is incumbent upon those who are present to inform those who are absent, because those who are absent might comprehend what I have said, better than the present audience." Chapter 10. It is essential to know a thing first before saying or acting upon it. Chapter 11. The Prophet used to take care of the people in preaching by selecting a suitable time so that they might not run away, never made them worse or bored them with religious talk and knowledge all the time. Narrated Ibn Masud. The Prophet used to take care of us in preaching by selecting a suitable time so that we might not get bored. He abstained from pestering us with sermons and knowledge all the time. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "Facilitate things to people concerning religious matters, and do not make it hard for them, and give them good tidings, and do not make them run away from Islam." Chapter 12. Whoever fixed a special day for giving a religious talk to the students. Narrated Abu Wa'il. Abdullah used to give a religious talk to the people on every Thursday. Once a man said, "O Abba Abdurrahman, by Allah, I wish if you could preach us daily." He replied, The only thing which prevents me from doing so is that I hate to bore you, and no doubt I take care of you in preaching by selecting a suitable time, just as the Prophet used to do with us, for fear of making us bored. Chapter 13. If Allah Jalla Jalalahu wants to do good to a person, He makes him comprehend their religion, the understanding of the Quran and As-Sunnah, legal ways of the Prophet Muhammad SAW. Narrated Muawiyah, I've heard Allah's Messenger say, if Allah wants to do good to a person, He makes him comprehend their religion. I am just a distributor. But the grant is from Allah, and remember that this nation's true Muslims will keep on following Allah's teaching strictly, and they will not be harmed by anyone going on a different path till Allah's order, Day of Judgment, is established. Chapter 14. The superiority of comprehending knowledge. Narrated Ibn Umar. We were with the Prophet, and fresh dates of a palm tree were brought to him. On that he said, amongst the trees there is a tree which resembles a Muslim. I wanted to say that it was the date palm tree, but as I was the youngest of all of them, I kept quiet, and then the Prophet said, it is the date palm tree. Chapter 15. Wish to be like the one who has knowledge and al-hikmah, wisdom, the knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah, legal ways of the Prophet SAW. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud. The Prophet said, do not wish to be like anyone except in two cases. The first is a person whom Allah has given wealth and he spends it righteously. The second is the one whom Allah has given wisdom, the Holy Quran, and he acts according to it and teaches it to others. Fath al-Bari, page 177, volume 1. Chapter 16. What has been said about the journey of Prophet Musa alayhi as-salam when he went in the sea to meet Al-Khidr. Narrated Ibn Abbas that they differed with Hud bin Qais bin Hisn al-Fasari regarding the companion of the Prophet Moses. Ibn Abbas said that he was Al-Qadir. Meanwhile, Ubay bin Ka'b passed by them, and Ibn Abbas called him, saying, my friend Hud, and I have differed regarding Moses' companion, whom Moses asked the way to meet. Have you heard a prophet mentioning something about him? He said, yes, I heard Allah's messenger saying, while Moses was sitting in the company of some Israelites, a man came and asked him, do you know anyone who is more learned than you? Moses replied, no. So Allah sent the divine inspiration to Moses. Yes, our slave Qadir is more learned than you. Moses asked Allah how to meet him, Qadir. So Allah made a fish as a sign for him, and he was told that when the fish was lost, he should return to the place where he had lost it, and there he would meet him, Al-Qadir. So Moses went on looking for the sign of the fish in the sea. The servant boy of Moses said to him, do you remember when we betook ourselves to the rock? I indeed forgot the fish. None but Satan made me forget to remember it. On that Moses said, that is what we have been seeking. 1864. So they went back retracing their footsteps and found Qadir, and what happened further to them is narrated in the Holy Quran by Allah, 1854 up to 1882. Chapter 17. The statement of the Prophet says, O Allah, bestow on him, Ibn Abbas, the knowledge of the book, the Quran. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Once the Prophet embraced me and said, O Allah, bestow on him the knowledge of the book, the Quran. Chapter 18. At what age may a youth be listened to? A quotation of the hadith from a boy be acceptable? Narrated Ibn Abbas. Once I came riding a she-ass and had just attained the age of puberty. Allah's messenger was offering a prayer at Mina. There was no wall in front of him, and I passed in front of some of the row while they were offering their prayers. There I let the she-ass loose to graze and enter the row, and nobody objected to it. Narrated Mahmud bin Rabia. When I was a boy of 5, I remember that the Prophet took water from a bucket used for getting water out of a well with his mouth and threw it on my face. Chapter 19. To go out in search of knowledge. Narrated Ibn Abbas that he differed with Hur bin Qais bin Hisan al-Fasari regarding the companion of the Prophet. Moses, meanwhile, Ubay bin Ka'b passed by them, and Ibn Abbas called him, saying, "My friend Hur and I have differed regarding Moses' companion, whom Moses asked the way to meet. Have you heard Allah's Messenger mentioning something about him?" Ubay bin Ka'b said, "Yes, I heard the Prophet mentioning something about him, saying, while Moses was sitting in the company of some Israelites, a man came and asked him, 'Do you know anyone who is more learned than you?' Moses replied, 'No,' so Allah sent the divine inspiration to Moses. 'Yes, our slave Qadir is more learned than you.' Moses asked Allah how to meet him, Al-Qadir. So Allah made the fish a sign for him, and he was told when the fish was lost, he should return to the place where he had lost it, and there he would meet him, Al-Qadir. So Moses went on looking for the sign of the fish in the sea. The servant boy of Moses said, 'Do you remember when we betook ourselves to the rock? I indeed forgot the fish. None but Satan made me forget to remember it.' On that Moses said, 'That is what we have been seeking.' So they went back, retracing their footsteps, and found Qadir. And what happened further about them is narrated in the Holy Quran by Allah, 1854 up to 1888. Chapter 20. The superiority of a person who learns Islam, becomes a religious scholar, and then teaches it to others. Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet said, "The example of guidance and knowledge with which Allah has sent me is like abundant rain falling on the earth, some of which was fertile soil that absorbed rainwater and brought forth vegetation and grass in abundance. And another portion of it was hard and held the rainwater, and Allah benefited the people with it, and they utilized it for drinking, making their animals drink from it, and for irrigation of the land for cultivation. And a portion of it was barren, which could neither hold the water nor bring forth vegetation. Then that land gave no benefits. The first is the example of the person who comprehends Allah's religion and gets benefit from the knowledge which Allah has revealed through me, the prophets, and learns and then teaches others. The last example is that of a person who does not care for it and does not take Allah's guidance revealed through me. He is like that barren land." Chapter 21. What is said regarding the disappearance of the religious knowledge and the appearance of religious ignorance. Narrated Anas. Allah's Messenger said, "From among the portents of the hour are the following. 1. Religious knowledge will be taken away by the death of religious learned men. 2. Religious ignorance will prevail. 3. Drinking of alcoholic drinks will be very common. 4. There will be prevalence of open illegal sexual intercourse." Narrated Anas. I will narrate to you a hadith, and none other than I will tell you about after it. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, from among the portents of the hour are the following. 1. Religious knowledge will decrease by the death of religious learned men. 2. Religious ignorance will prevail. 3. There will be prevalence of open illegal sexual intercourse. 4. Women will increase in number and men will decrease in number, so much so that 50 women will be looked after by one man. Chapter 22. The superiority of religious knowledge. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "While I was sleeping, I saw that a cup full of milk was brought to me, and I drank my fill till I noticed the milk, its wetness, coming out of my nails. Then I gave the remaining milk to Umar ibn al-Khattab." The companions of the Prophet asked, "What have you interpreted about this dream, O Allah's Messenger?" He replied, "It is religious knowledge." Chapter 23. To give a religious verdict while riding an animal or standing on anything else. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As. Allah's messenger stopped for a while near the Jimar at Mina during his last Hajj for the people, and they were asking him questions. A man came and said, I forgot and got my head shaved before slaughtering the hadi, sacrificing animal. The Prophet said, there is no harm, go and do the slaughtering now. Then another person came and said, I forgot and slaughtered the camel before Rami, throwing of the pebbles at the Jamrah. The Prophet said, do the Rami now, and there is no harm. The narrator added, so on that day when the Prophet was asked about anything as regards the ceremonies of Hajj, performed before or after its due time, his reply was, do it now, and there is no harm. Chapter 24. Whoever gave a religious verdict by beckoning or by nodding. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Somebody said to the Prophet during his last Hajj, I did the slaughtering before doing the Rami. The Prophet beckoned with his hand and said, there is no harm in that. Then another person said, I got my head shaved before offering the sacrifice. The Prophet beckoned with his hand, saying, there is no harm in that. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, religious knowledge will be taken away by the death of religious scholars. Ignorance in religion and afflictions will appear, and harj will increase. He was asked, what is harj, O Allah's messenger? He replied, by beckoning with his hand, indicating killing. Fath al-Bari, page 192, volume 1. Narrated Asma. I came to Aisha while she was praying, and she said to her, what has happened to the people? She pointed out towards the sky. I looked towards the mosque and saw the people offering the prayer. Aisha said, Subhanallah. I said to her, is there a sign? She nodded with her head, meaning, yes, I do, then stood for the prayer of eclipse, till I became nearly unconscious, and later on I poured water on my head. After the prayer, the Prophet praised and glorified Allah and then said, just now at this place I have seen what I have never seen before, including paradise and hell. No doubt it has been inspired to me that you will be put to trials in your graves, and these trials will be like the trials of Masih al-Dajjal, or nearly like it. The sub-narrator is not sure which expression Asma used. You will be asked, what do you know about this man, the Prophet Muhammad? Then the faithful believer, or Asma, said a similar word. Will replied, he is Muhammad, Allah's messenger, who had come to us with clear evidence and guidance, and so we accepted his teachings and followed him. And he is Muhammad, and he will repeat it thrice. Then the angels will say to him, sleep in peace, as we have come to know that you are a faithful believer. On the other hand, a hypocrite or a doubtful person will reply, I do not know, but I heard people saying something, and so I said it the same. Chapter 25. The Prophet urged the people mission of Abdul Qais to memorize the faith and the religious knowledge, as he explained to them, and to convey to their people whom they left behind at home. Narrated Abu Jamrah. I was an interpreter between the people and Ibn Abbas. Once Ibn Abbas said that the delegation of the tribe of Abdul Qais came to the Prophet, who asked them, who are the people, you, or who are the delegates? They replied, we are from the tribe of Rabia. Then the Prophet said to them, welcome, O people, or said, O delegation of Abdul Qais, neither will you have disgrace, nor will you regret. They said, we have come to you from a distant place, and there is the tribe of the infidels of Mudar intervening between you and us, and we cannot come to you except in the sacred month. So please order us to do something good, religious deeds, and that we may also inform our people whom we have left behind at home, and that we may enter paradise by acting on them. The Prophet ordered them to do 4 things, and forbade them from 4 things. He ordered them to believe in Allah alone, the Honorable, the Majestic, and said to them, do you know what is meant by believing in Allah alone? They replied, Allah and His Apostle know better. Thereupon the Prophet said, That means to testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah and that Muhammad is his apostle, to offer prayers perfectly, to pay zakat, to observe fasts during the month of Ramadan, and to pay al-kumus, 1/5 of the booty, to be given in Allah's cause. Then he forbade them 4 things, namely al-duba, hantam, mustafat, and al-nakir or mukayyar. These were the names of pots in which alcoholic drinks used to be prepared. The Prophet further said, memorize them, these instructions, and tell them to the people whom you have left behind. Chapter 26. To travel seeking an answer to a problematic matter and to teach it to one's family. Narrated Abdullah bin Abi Mulaika. Uqba bin al-Harith said that he had married the daughter of Abi Ihab bin Aziz. Later on, a woman came to him and said, I have suckled nursed Uqba, and the woman whom I married, his wife, at my breast. Uqba said to her, neither I knew that you have suckled nursed me, nor did you tell me. Then he rode over to see Allah's Messenger at Medina and asked him about it. Allah's Messenger said, how can you keep her as a wife when it has been said that she is your foster sister? Then Uqba divorced her and she married another man. Chapter 27. To fix the duties in rotation for learning religious knowledge. Narrated Umar. My Ansari neighbor from Bani Umayyah bin Said, who used to live at Awali al-Medina and used to visit the Prophet by turns. He used to go on day and another day. When I went, I used to bring the news of the day regarding the divine inspiration and other things. And when he went, he used to do the same. For me, once my Ansari friend, in his turn, on returning from the Prophet, knocked violently at my door and asked if I was there. I became horrified and came out to him. He said, today a great thing has happened. I then went to Hafsa and saw her weeping. I asked her, did Allah's Messenger divorce you all? She replied, I do not know. Then I entered upon the Prophet and said while standing, have you divorced your wife? The Prophet replied in a negative. On that I said, Allahu Akbar, Allah is greater. See Hadith number 119, volume 3 for details. Chapter 28. To be furious while preaching or teaching if one sees what one hates. Narrated Abu Masud al-Ansari. Once a man said to Allah's Messenger, O Allah's Messenger, I may not attend the compulsory congregational prayer because so and so the Imam prolongs the prayer when he leads us for it. The narrated added, I never saw the Prophet more furious in giving advice than he was on that day. The Prophet said, O people, some of you make others dislike good deeds, the prayers, so whoever leads the people in prayer should shorten it, because among them there are the sick, the weak, and the needy having some jobs to do. Narrated Sa'id bin Khalid al-Juhani. A man asked the Prophet about the picking up of a lukata falling lost thing. The Prophet replied, recognize and remember its tying material and its container and make a public announcement about it for 1 year. Then utilize it, but give it to its owner if he comes. Then the person asked about the lost camel. On that the Prophet got angry and its cheeks of his face became red, and he said, you have no concern with it, as it has its water container and its feet, and it will reach water and eat the leaves or of the trees till its owner finds it. The man then asked about the lost sheep. The Prophet replied, it is either for you, for your brother, another person, or for the wolf. Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet was asked about things which he did not like, but when the questioner insisted, the Prophet got angry, and then he said to the people, ask me anything you like. A man asked, who is my father? The Prophet replied, your father is Hudafa. Then another man got up and said, who is my father, O Allah's Messenger? He replied, your father is Salim, Ma'ula, the freed slave of Shayba. So when Umar saw that the anger on the face of the Prophet, he said, O Allah's Messenger, we repent to Allah or offending you. Chapter 29. Whoever knelt down before the Imam or a religious preacher. Narrated Anas bin Malik. One day, Allah's Messenger came out before the people, and Abdullah bin Hudafa stood up and asked him, "Who is my father?" The Prophet replied, "Your father is Hudafa." The Prophet told them repeatedly in anger to ask him anything they liked. Umar knelt down before the Prophet and said thrice, "We accept Allah as our Lord and Islam as our religion and Muhammad as our Prophet." After that, the Prophet became silent. Chapter 30. Repeating one's talk thrice in order to make others understand. Narrated Anas. Whenever the Prophet asked permission to enter, he knocked the door thrice with greeting, and whenever he spoke a sentence, said a thing, he used to repeat it thrice. See Hadith number 261, volume 8. Narrated Anas. Whenever the Prophet spoke a sentence, said a thing, he used to repeat it thrice so that the people could understand it properly from him. And whenever he asked permission to enter, then he knocked the door thrice with greeting. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr. Once Allah's Messenger remained behind us in a journey. He joined us while we were performing ablution for the Asr prayer, which was overdue. We were just passing wet hands over our feet, not washing them properly. So the Prophet addressed us in a loud voice and said twice or thrice, "Save your heels from the fire!" Chapter 31. A man teaching religion to his woman, slave and his family. Narrated Abu Burda's father. Allah's Messenger said, 3 persons will have a double reward. 1. A person from the people of the scriptures who believed in his prophet, Jesus or Moses, and then believed in the prophet Muhammad, yet has embraced Islam. 2. A slave who discharges his duties to Allah and his master. 3. A master of a woman's slave who teaches her good manners and educates her in the best possible way, their religion, and manumates her and then marries her. Chapter 32. The preaching and teaching of the religious knowledge to women by the Imam Chief. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Once Allah's Messenger came out while Bilal was accompanying him. He went towards the woman, thinking that they had not heard his sermon. So he preached them and ordered them to pay alms. Hearing that, the woman started giving alms. Some donated their earrings, some gave their rings, and Bilal was collecting them in the corner of his garment. Chapter 33. Eagerness to learn the Hadith. Narrated Abu Huraira. I said, "O Allah's Messenger, who will be the luckiest person who will gain your intercession on the day of resurrection?" Allah's Messenger said, "O Abu Huraira, I have thought that none will ask me about it before you, as I know your longing for the learning of Hadiths. The luckiest person who will have my intercession on the day of resurrection will be the one who said sincerely from the bottom of his heart, 'None has the right to be worshipped but Allah.'" Chapter 34. How the religious knowledge will be taken away. And Umar bin Abdul Aziz wrote to Abu Bakr bin Hassan, "Look for the knowledge of Hadith and get it written, as I am afraid that religious knowledge will vanish, and the religious learned men will pass away, die. Do not accept anything save the Hadiths of the Prophet. Circulate knowledge and teach the ignorant, for knowledge does not vanish except when it is kept secretly to oneself." Narrated Abdullah bin Amr bin Alas. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, "Allah does not take away the knowledge by taking it away from the hearts of the people, but takes it away by the death of the religious learned men, till when none of the religious learned men remains, people will take as their leaders ignorant persons, who when consulted will give their verdict without knowledge, so they will go astray and will lead the people astray." Chapter 35. Should a day be fixed for women in order to teach them religion apart from men? Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Some women requested the Prophet to fix a day for them, as the men were taking all this time. On that he promised them one day for religious lessons and commandments. Once during such a lesson the Prophet said, "A woman whose 3 children die will be shielded by them from the hellfire." On that a woman asked, "If only 2 die?" He replied, "Even 2 will shield her from the hellfire." Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. As about the sub-narrators are different, Abu Huraira qualified the 3 children referred to in the above mentioned hadith as not having reached the age of committing sins, yet age of puberty. Chapter 36. Whoever heard something but did not understand it, and then asked again till he understood it completely. Narrated Ibn Abu Mulaika. Whenever Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, heard anything which she did not understand, she used to ask again till she understood it completely. Aisha said, once the Prophet said, "Whoever will be called to account about his deeds on the day of resurrection will surely be punished." I said, "Doesn't Allah say, he surely will receive an easy reckoning?" 84:8. The Prophet replied, "This means only by the presentation of the accounts, but whoever will be argued about his account will certainly be ruined." Chapter 37. It is incumbent on those who are present in a religious meeting or conference to convey the knowledge to those who are absent. Narrated Sa'id. Abu Shuraih said, when Amr bin Sa'id was sending the troops to Mecca to fight Abdullah bin As-Subayr, yes, I said to him, "O chief, allow me to tell you what the Prophet said on the day following the conquests of Mecca. My ears heard, and my heart comprehended, and I saw him with my own eyes when he said it. He glorified and praised Allah and then said, Allah and not the people has made Mecca a sanctuary. So anybody who has belief in Allah and the last day, i.e. a Muslim, should neither shed blood in it nor cut down its trees. If anybody argues that fighting is allowed in Mecca as Allah's messenger did fight in Mecca, tell him that Allah gave permission to his apostle, but he did not give it to you." The Prophet added, "Allah allowed me only for a few hours on that day of the conquest, and today now its sanctity is the same valid as it was before. So it is incumbent upon those who are present to convey this information to those who are absent." Abu Shuraih was asked, "What did Amr reply?" He said, "Amr said, O Abu Shuraih, I know better than you in this respect. Mecca does not give protection to one who disobeys Allah or runs after committing murder or theft and takes refuge in Mecca." Narrated Abu Bakr. The Prophet said, "No doubt your blood property." The sub-narrated Muhammad thought that Abu Bakr had also mentioned, "And your honor, chastity are sacred to one another, as is the sanctity of this day of yours, in this month of yours. It is incumbent on those who are present to inform those who are absent." Muhammad, the sub-narrator, used to say, "Allah's messenger told the truth." The Prophet repeated twice, "No doubt, haven't I conveyed Allah's message to you?" Chapter 38. The sin of a person who tells a lie against the Prophet sauce. Narrated Ali. The Prophet said, "Do not tell a lie against me, for whoever tells a lie against me intentionally, then he will surely enter the hellfire." Narrated Abdullah bin As-Subayr. I said to my father, "I do not hear from you any narration hadith of Allah's apostle, as I hear this narration from so and so." As-Subayr replied, "I was always with him, the Prophet, and I heard him saying, Whoever tells a lie against me intentionally, then surely let him occupy his seat in hellfire. Narrated Anas. The fact which stops me from narrating a great number of hadiths to you is that the Prophet said, whoever tells a lie against me intentionally, then surely let him occupy his seat in hellfire. Narrated Salama. I heard a prophet saying, whoever intentionally ascribes to me what I have not said, then surely let him occupy his seat in hellfire. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, name yourself with my name, use my name, but do not name yourself with my kunya name, Abul Qasim. And whoever sees me in a dream, then surely he has seen me, for Satan cannot impersonate me. And whoever tells a lie against me intentionally, then surely let him occupy him seat in hellfire. Chapter 39. The Writing of Knowledge. Narrated Afshubi. Abu Juhayfa said, I asked Ali, have you got any book which has been revealed to the Prophet apart from the Quran? Ali replied, no, except Allah's book or the power of understanding which has been bestowed by Allah upon a Muslim, or what is written in a sheet of paper with me. Abu Juhayfa said, I asked, what is written in this sheet of paper? Ali replied, it deals with the diya, compensation blood money, paid by the killer to the relatives of the victim, the ransom for the releasing of the captives from the hands of the enemies, and the law that no Muslim should be killed in qisas, equality in punishment for the killing of a disbeliever. Narrated Abu Huraira. In the year of the conquest of Mecca, the tribe of Qusa killed a man from the tribe of Bani Lat in revenge for a killed person belonging to them. They informed the Prophet about it. So he rode his rahila, she-camel for riding, and addressed the people, saying, Allah held back the killing from Mecca. The sub-narrated is in doubt whether the Prophet said elephant or killing, as the Arabic words standing for these words have a great similarity in shape, but he, Allah, let his apostle and the believers overpower the infidels of Mecca. Beware, Mecca is a sanctuary. Verily, fighting in Mecca was not permitted for anyone before me, nor will it be permitted for anyone after me. War in it was made legal for me for a few hours or so on that day. No doubt it is at this moment a sanctuary. It is not allowed to uproot its thorny shrubs, or to uproot its trees, or to pick up its fallen things, except by a person who will look for its owner and not say publicly. And if somebody is killed, then his closest relative has the right to choose one of the two, the blood money, diya, or retaliation having the killer killed. In the meantime, a man from Yemen came and said, O Allah's messenger, get that written for me. The Prophet ordered his companions to write that for him. Then a man from Quraysh said, accept al-idkir, a type of grass that has good smell. O Allah's messenger, as we use it in our houses and graves. The Prophet said, accept al-idkir, al-idkir is allowed to be plucked. Narrated Abu Huraira. There is none among the companions of the Prophet who has narrated more hadiths than I, except Abdullah bin Amr bin Alas, who used to write them, and I never did the same. Narrated Ubaydullah bin Abdullah. Ibn Abbas said, when the ailment of the Prophet became worse, he said, bring for me writing paper and I will write for you a statement, after which you will not go astray. But Umar said, the Prophet is seriously ill, and we have got Allah's book with us, and that is sufficient for us. But the companions of the Prophet differed about this, and there was a hue and a cry. On that the Prophet said to them, go away and leave me alone. It is not right that you should quarrel in front of me. Ibn Abbas came out saying, it was most unfortunate, a great disaster that Allah's messenger was prevented from writing that statement for them, because of their disagreement and noise. Note, it is apparent from this hadith that Ibn Abbas had witnessed the event and came out saying this statement. The truth is not so, for Ibn Abbas used to say the statement on narrating the hadith, and he had not witnessed the event personally. See Fath al-Bari, volume 1, page 220, footnote. See hadith number 228, volume 4. Chapter 40. The knowledge and its teaching and preaching at night. Narrated Salama. One night Allah's messenger got up and said, Subhanallah, how many afflictions have been descended tonight, and how many treasures have been disclosed. Go and wake the sleeping lady occupants of these dwellings, his wives, up for the prayers. A well-dressed soul in this world may be naked in the hereafter. Chapter 41. To speak about religious knowledge at night. Chapter 42. What is said regarding the memorization of religious knowledge. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Once the Prophet led us in the Isha prayer during the last days of his life, and after finishing it, the prayer with Taslim, he said, Do you realize the importance of this night? Nobody present on the surface on the earth tonight will be living after the completion of 100 years from this night. Narrated Ibn Abbas. I stayed over the night in the house of my aunt Maymuna bint al-Harith, the wife of the Prophet. While the Prophet was there with her during her night turn, the Prophet offered Isha prayer in the mosque, returned home and after having prayed 4 rakat, he slept. Later on, he got up at night and then asked whether the boy, or he used a similar word, had slept. Then he got up for the prayer and I stood up by his left side, but he made me stand to his right and offered 5 rakat, followed by 2 more rakat. Then he slept and I heard him snoring, and then after a while, he left for the Fajr prayer. Narrated Abu Huraira. People say that I have narrated many hadiths. The Prophet's narration, had it not been for 2 verses in the Quran, I will not have narrated a single hadith, and the verses are, Rarely those who conceal the clear sign and the guidance which we have sent down, up to most merciful, 259, 160, and no doubt our muhajir, emigrant brothers used to be busy in the market with their business, bargains, and their Ansari brothers used to be busy with their property, agriculture. But I, Abu Huraira, used to stick to Allah's messenger, contented with what will fill my stomach, and I used to attend that which they used not to attend, and I used to memorize that which they used not to memorize. Narrated Abu Huraira. I said to Allah's messenger, I hear many narration hadiths from you, but I forget them. Allah's apostle said, Spread your rida garment. I did accordingly, and then he moved his hands as if filling them with something, and emptied them in my rida, and then said, Take and wrap this sheet over your body. I did it, and after that I never forgot anything. Narrated Ibrahim bin al-Mundir. Ibn Abi Fudayk narrated the same as above, hadith 119, but added that the Prophet had moved his hands as if filling them with something, and then he emptied them in the rida of Abu Huraira. Narrated Abu Huraira. I have memorized 2 kinds of knowledge from Allah's messenger. I have propagated one of them to you, and if I propagate the second, then my pharynx, throat, will be cut, killed. Chapter 43. To be quiet and listen to religious learned men. Narrated Jarir. The Prophet said to me during Hajjat al-Wida, Let the people keep quiet and listen. Then he said, addressing the people, Do not become infidels, revert to disbelief after me by striking the necks, cutting the throats of one another, killing each other. Chapter 44. When a religious learned man is asked, who is the most learned person, it is better for him to attribute or entrust absolute knowledge to Allah, Azza wa Jal, and to say, Allah is the most learned than anybody else. Narrated Sa'id bin Jubair. I said to Ibn Abbas, Naif al-Bakali claims that Moses, the companions of Qadir, was not the Moses of Bani Israel, but he was another Moses. Ibn Abbas remarked that the enemy of Allah, Naif, was a liar. Narrated Ubay bin Ka'b, the Prophet said, once the Prophet Moses stood up and addressed Bani Israel. He was asked, who is the most learned man amongst the people? He said, I am the most learned. Allah admonished Moses as he did not attribute absolute knowledge to him, Allah, so Allah inspired him. At the junction of the two seas, there is a slave amongst my slaves who is more learned than you. Moses said, O my Lord, how can I meet him? Allah said, take a fish in a large basket and proceed, and you will find him at the place where you will lose the fish. So Moses set out along with his servant boy, Yusha bin Nun, and carried a fish in a large basket till they reached a rock, where they laid their heads, yet lay down and slept. The fish came out of the basket, and it took its way into the sea as in a tunnel. So it was an amazing thing for both Moses and his servant boy. They proceeded for the rest of that night and the following day. When the day broke, Moses said to his servant boy, bring us our early meal. No doubt we have suffered much fatigue in this journey. Moses did not get tired till he passed the place about which he was told. There the servant boy told Moses, do you remember when we betook ourselves to the rock? I indeed forgot the fish. Moses remarked, that is what we have been seeking. So they went back, retracing their footsteps, till they reached the rock. There they saw a man covered with a garment, or covering himself with his own garment. Moses greeted him. Al-Qadir replied, saying, how do people greet each other in your land? Moses said, I am Moses. He asked, the Moses of Bani Israel? Moses replied in the affirmative and added, may I follow you so that you teach me of that knowledge which you have been taught? Al-Qadir replied, verily you will not be able to remain patient with me. O Moses, I have some of the knowledge of Allah which he has taught me, and which you do not know, while you have some knowledge which Allah has taught you, which I do not know. Moses said, Allah willing, you will find me patient, and I will disobey no order of yours. So both of them set out walking along the seashore, as they did not have a boat. In the meantime, a boat passed by them, and they requested the crew of the boat to take them on board. The crew recognized Al-Qadir and took them on board without fear. Then a sparrow came and stood on the edge of the boat, and dipped its beak once or twice in the sea. Al-Qadir said, O Moses, my knowledge and your knowledge have not decreased. Allah's knowledge except as much as the sparrow has decreased the water of the sea with its beak. Al-Qadir went to one of the planks of the boat and plucked it out. Moses said, these people gave us a free lift, but you have broken the boat and scuttled it so as to drown its people. Al-Qadir replied, didn't I tell you that you will not be able to remain patient with me? Moses said, call me not to account for what I forgot. The first excuse of Moses was that he had forgotten. Then they proceeded further and found a boy playing with other boys. Al-Qadir took hold of the boy's head from the top and plucked it out with his hands. He had killed him. Moses said, have you killed an innocent soul who has killed none? Al-Qadir replied, did I not tell you that you cannot remain patient with me? Then they both proceeded till when they came to the people of a town. They asked them for food, but they refused to entertain them. Then they found there a wall on the point of collapsing. Al-Qadir repaired it with his own hands. Moses said, if you had wished, surely you could have taken wages for it. Al-Qadir replied, this is the parting between you and me. The Prophet added, may Allah be merciful to Moses. Would that he could have been more patient to learn more about his story with Al-Qadir. Chapter 45. Whosoever was standing asked a religious learned man who was sitting on a pulpit or a similar thing about something. Narrated Abu Musa. A man came to the Prophet and asked, "O Allah's messenger, what kind of fighting is in Allah's cause? I ask this, for some of us fight because of being enraged and angry, and some for the sake of his pride and haughtiness." The Prophet raised his head as the questioner was standing and said, "He who fights so that Allah's word Islam should be superior than he fights in Allah's cause." Chapter 46. To ask about a religious matter and to give a religious verdict. At Mina during Hajj. While doing the Rami of Jimar, throwing of pebbles at the Jimar in Mina during Hajj. Narrated Abdullah bin Ammar. I saw the Prophet near the Jamrah and the people were asking him questions about religious problems. A man asked, "Oh Allah's messenger, I have slaughtered the hadi animal before doing the Rami." The Prophet replied, "Do the Rami now, and there is no harm." Another person asked, "Oh Allah's messenger, I got my head shaved before slaughtering the animal." The Prophet replied, "Do the slaughtering now, and there is no harm." So on that day, when the Prophet was asked about anything as regards the ceremonies of Hajj performed before or after its due time, his reply was, "Do now, and there is no harm." Chapter 47. The statement of Allah Ta'ala, and of knowledge you mankind have been given only a little. Narrated Abdullah. While I was going with the Prophet through the ruins of Medina, and he was reclined on a date palm leaf stalk, some Jews passed by. Some of them said to the others, "Ask him the Prophet about the Spirit." Some of them said that they should not ask him that question, as he might give a reply which will displease them. But some of them insisted on asking, and so on. One of them stood up and asked, "O Abul Qasim, what is the Spirit?" The Prophet remained quiet. I thought he was being inspired divinely, so I stayed till that state of the Prophet while being inspired was over. The Prophet then said, "And they ask you, O Muhammad, concerning the Spirit, say, the Spirit, its knowledge is with my Lord, and of knowledge you mankind have been given only a little." 1785. Chapter 48. Whosoever left some optional things simply for the fear that some people may not be able to understand them and may fall into something more difficult. Narrated Aswad. Ibn As-Subayr said to me, "Aisha used to tell you secretly a number of things. What did she tell you about the Kaaba?" I replied, "She told me that once the Prophet said, 'O Aisha, had not your people been still close to the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, infidelity, I would have dismantled the Kaaba and would have made the two doors in it, one for entrance and the other for exit.' Later on, Ibn As-Subayr did the same." Chapter 49. Whoever selected some people to teach them religious knowledge, preferring them over others for fear that the others may not understand it. Narrated Abu at-Tufail. The above mentioned statement of Ali. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once Muad was along with Allah's Messenger as a companion rider. Allah's Messenger said, "O Muad bin Jabal." Muad replied, "Labaik and Sadaik, O Allah's Messenger." Again the Prophet said, "O Muad, Muad," and said thrice, "Labaik and Sadaik, O Allah's Messenger." Allah's Messenger said, "There is none who testifies sincerely that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad is his apostle, except that Allah will save him from the hellfire." Muad said, "O Allah's Messenger, should I not inform the people about it so that they may have glad tidings?" He replied, "When the people hear about it, they will solely depend on it." Then Muad narrated the above mentioned hadith just before his death, being afraid of committing sin by not telling the knowledge. Narrated Anas. I was informed that the Prophet had said to Muad, whosoever will meet Allah without associating anything in worship with him will go to paradise. Muad asked the Prophet, should I not inform the people of this good news? The Prophet replied, no, I am afraid lest they should depend upon it. Absolutely. Chapter 50. What is said as regards to be shy, al-haya, while learning religious knowledge. Narrated Salama. Sulaim came to Allah's Messenger and said, verily Allah is not shy of telling you the truth. Is it necessary for a woman to take a bath after she has a wet dream, nocturnal sexual discharge? The Prophet replied, yes, if she notices a discharge. Salama then covered her face and asked, O Allah's Messenger, does a woman get a discharge? He replied, yes, let your right hand be in dust. An Arabic expression you say to a person when you contradict his statement, meaning you will not achieve goodness, and that is why the son resembles his mother. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Once Allah's Messenger said, amongst the trees there is a tree, the leaves of which do not fall and is like a Muslim. Tell me the name of that tree. Everybody started thinking about the trees of the desert areas, and I thought of the date palm tree, but felt shy to answer. The others asked, O Allah's Apostle, inform us of it. He replied, it is the date palm tree. I told my father what had come to my mind, and on that he said, had you said it, I would have preferred it to such and such a thing that I might possess. Chapter 51. Whosoever felt shy to ask something and then requested another person to ask on his behalf. Narrated Ali. I used to get the emotional urethral discharge frequently, so I requested Al-Miqdad to ask the Prophet about it. Al-Miqdad asked him, and he replied, one has to perform ablution after it. See Hadith number 269. Chapter 52. Teaching religious knowledge and giving religious verdicts in Majid. Narrated Nafi. Abdullah bin Umar said, a man got up in the mosque and said, O Allah's Messenger, at which place you order us that we should assume the ihram? Allah's Messenger replied, the residents of Medina should assure the ihram from Dhul Hulayfa, the people of Syria from Al-Jufa, and the people of Najd from Qarn. Ibn Umar further said, the people considered that Allah's Messenger had also said, the residents of Yemen should assume ihram from Yalam Lam. Ibn Umar used to say, I do not remember whether Allah's Messenger had said the last statement or not. Chapter 53. Whosoever answered the questioner more than what was asked. Narrated Ibn Umar. A man asked the Prophet, what kind of clothes should a murim, a Muslim attending to perform Umrah or Hajj, wear? He replied, he should not wear a shirt, a turban, trousers, a head cloak, or garment scented with saffron or wars, kind of perfumes. And if he has no slippers, then he can use kufs, socks made from thick fabric or leather. But the socks should be cut short so as to make the ankles bare. See Hadith number 615, volume 2.